Hi guys in YouTube, this is Shane McDonald again, and I know I haven't posted videos in a while, but I've had a lot of requests. I've had a lot of people asking, when are you going to start doing videos again? We really love the information and it really helps us in our journey and what we're doing in business and what we're doing even at work. So here I am, I'm going to start posting again and doing videos again. Looking for probably 2 to 3 videos a week, so be on the lookout on YouTube and on TikTok and on Instagram as well. And so without further ado, let's get into kind of what I have for today. What I have for today is actually something that, funny enough, we went over this past weekend. And this past weekend, we had a mastermind, we had a group get together, and we were kind of discussing what's going on in the economy right now, how do we react to it, and how do we hedge ourselves against exactly what's going on. And you know, really the consensus that actually came out of that meeting, out of that private group meeting, was very interesting. Number one, it's the best time to create new wealth. It's the absolute best time in history. In fact, guys, there has never been another time in history where you could create new wealth like you can right now today. Because the people that have controlled the old wealth and the old way of doing things are basically not in control anymore. We have so many people in so many nations because of interconnectivity, because of this little thing called an iPhone or an Android like we're using right now, that we can communicate across borders, we can communicate across the entire earth, and we can actually do business with each other without the need of governments or governmental interference, things like that, or even banking or banking interference. So therefore, we are moving into a new time and into a new era. That being said, the era thing that kept coming up and the time that we're in that kept coming up, it's kind of a unique situation, and I'm going to describe that a little bit to you so maybe you can kind of grasp that, and maybe it'll help you kind of understand how to launch forward, to take that next leap of faith, to take that next step to get to where you want to be. You know, personally, I'm not where I want to be, but I don't think I'll ever be exactly where I want to be, because it seems like every time I get to the next level, that it's like, okay, now I've achieved my goal. Here I am looking at the next level, and it's already like, okay, I'm ready to achieve the next goal already. I've already found a whole new goal for myself that I didn't even know existed 6 months ago. So that being said, I think you guys will actually start finding that will happen to you as well. As you start reaching your goals, you'll actually start finding new goals along the way, and you'll move up and you'll move forward. To understand the time that we're in, we have to look back a little bit to understand the time we were in before, all right? I won't go too far back, but I'll go just a little bit back and so you guys can have a grasp of this. You know, a lot of you guys are familiar with the industrial age. You're familiar with studying the Roaring 20s. You're familiar with studying the Great Depression and the economy rebound that happened after the Great Depression, starting in about 33 or 34. And then moving from there through that entire era, we actually moved into a positioning into the fulfillment era, where we're taking everything from the industrial and we start moving it to that warehousing fulfillment center, that where we're actually start setting up places of shipment and fulfillment era. So then we move from right there. That actually caused another issue, because we have so much product and so much supply that's suddenly being spread all around the world. Now we have an issue of being able to keep up with that. So that actually is what spurred what we know as the technology era. And we moved into that technology era. And as we moved into it, that's where a lot of people that are in position today and in the workforce today came in. And they came in right at the end of that era. But their parents thought we're at the beginning of it, because their parents came out of school in the 50s and the 60s, and they went to college and they got a good job, and that's what it took. What was the first thing that they did? They said, okay, well, you've got to go to school, get good grades, go to college, and get a good job. And this tech thing is the new thing. Go study it. You can be just like that man that's doing Microsoft. Well, what do you have now? You didn't get to be just like the man that did Microsoft, because the man that did Microsoft started studying the tech back in the late 60s, early 70s. Meanwhile, you're studying it in the 80s and 90s. And then you come out and you find out that not only do you not find a job, but the only job you do have is working for the man or one of the subsidiaries that actually came up with the tech that you're using today. One of them being Bill Gates, many of us know, for Microsoft, because it doesn't matter which product you use, the majority of the world uses Microsoft for their operating systems. So therefore, you went right from the technology age and you came out completely unprepared for the information entertainment age that came next. Immediately afterwards, we ran into that information entertainment age. So you went from technology right into information. So all these people came out prepared. They're going to go into tech, they're going to program computers, and then meanwhile, the people that are actually making the money are the next generation that came along that picked up a phone and started entertaining people and started informing people. That age lasted for a very short period of time. And then here's where the uniqueness comes in. Every age that came before, from the industrial to the technology information entertainment, every age that came before and came after, the ones that came after the one that came before were actually shorter. So we went from hundreds of years to tens of years down to only about 4 or 5 years that these age actually last. So in reality, about 2009, 2008, 2009, when the full-fledged iPhones and Android started hitting the markets for the public to have, we rolled into an entire new age. It's called the partnership age. And the reason I like to call it the partnership age is you have your companies like Apple that said, hey, don't come work for us. Don't go get a degree. Don't go to school and come figure out how to work for us. Produce something, design something yourself, build an app, and then put it on our store, put it on our operating system, and let our users access to your app, and we'll give you the majority of the profits. So we're going to partner with you in a sense and allow you to build up something on our platform. And in turn, you're building our platform. So we moved into this partnership age back in about 2008, 2009. And then that's where we are still to this very day. Everything that we're operating in right now is still in a partnership age. So because of this partnership age has lasted longer than the age that came before, we're in a completely uncharted territories. So that's the reason you're having these issues with the economic markets not knowing how to respond. That's the reason you're having issues with the feds not knowing how to deal with inflation, because it's not just the United States of America that has inflation. It's not just the United States of America that's dealing with issues with supply chain, that's dealing with issues for demand and not being able to meet that demand currently, things like that. It is multiple countries throughout the entire earth that are actually dealing with this issue. So no one country is actually going to find the solution for it. So therefore, we are in completely uncharted territories in terms of economics. But in terms of understanding where we are still in that partnership age. We're still in that era of anything that you do that you partner, you will absolutely have the greatest and best advantage of anybody else around you in that field. So my advice to you, or my thoughts, not really my advice, but my thoughts on currently what are we dealing with economically and how do we set ourselves apart from this and hedge ourselves, is we find out what our purpose, our passion, and our skills are. We begin working on those, and we begin reaching out and finding where we can plug those skills into in order to partner with other people and other companies, and not just find a job, but find a partnership, find a relationship, find something that you can build off of, you can have equity in, and in turn, you're building each other to that next level, and you're hedging yourselves against the economic upheaval that we're actually in the middle of. So that I'm not saying that you won't go through it. but so that it will not have the harsh effect on you that if at that point, than if you actually did nothing and you just tried to ride the storm with what you have currently right now in your hands. So my thoughts is to work on that skill, work on that passion, work on that purpose, find what your purpose is if you don't know what it is. We have a lot of different ways to do that. Find how to work on your skill. If you don't know what that is, we have a lot of different ways to help you with that as well. Look, go to my bio, click on the link tree and look through the link tree. See if you have something in that link tree that we have on there that matches you, has that synergy with what you need and what you're trying to work and build into. And if it is, partner up with us. We'll be glad to help you, get you on that path to get you to the place that you need to be in order to succeed today.